Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Wednesday night advanced Bible class, 2nd of June, 2021. Asking everybody to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Welcome and shalom, everybody. We're going to go into our moment of silence. It's in regards to Yahweh, our Creator and Lord of Hosts, and all that they are doing to bring about our regather. We're going to do a prayer, a psalms, and then we're going to current events. Okay. What's up, Doc?
Okay. Shalom, shalom.
All right. So we're going to do our moment of silence and go into a prayer. Oh Lord, we come this day praising thee, worshiping thee, thy might and power and great understanding. Oh Lord, the end times that you have foretold of by our forefathers are upon us. Oh Lord, give us strength and wisdom to endure all that thou hast foretold. Give us, O Lord, the knowledge to rightly divide thy word, that they may deliver it in righteousness and in truth. There is great confusion among the inheritance, O Lord, now that you are awakening them. For I know, O Lord, that your hand is sure and that your hand is firm. O Lord, we need you so very much in these latter days. We will tarry and depend upon you, O Lord, because there is none else besides you, O Lord. You are our deliverer and our redeemer. Peace be unto you. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to deal with the Psalms. Okay? This is Psalm 6. This is prayer for mercy. O Lord, this is Psalm of David. O Lord, rebuke me not in thine anger, neither chasten me in thy hot displeasure. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am weak. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are vexed. My soul is also sore vexed. But thou, O Lord, but thou, O Lord, how long? Return, O Lord, deliver my soul. O have me for thy mercy's sake. Save me for thy mercy's sake. For in death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave, who shall give thee thanks? I am weary with my groanings all that night. All the night make I my bed to swim. I water my couch with my tears. Mine eyes is consumed because of grief. It waxed old because all mine enemies depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity. For the Lord have heard the voice of my weeping. The Lord have heard my supplications. The Lord will receive my prayer. Let all mine enemies be ashamed and sore vexed. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly. And that's Psalm 6. It's a prayer for mercy by David. Okay. With that being said, we're gonna do going to current events. Anybody got any current events?
I see that they had another ransomware attack, but it was on a meat plant this time, and they ended up shutting down 9 of the major meat plants.
You said rats?
Ransomware. Cyber attack?
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
I
Uh-huh.
saw a little bit of it, yeah.
Right. So we can look for meat prices to spike.
Right. Ain't that something?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, yeah. So I think this sort of kind of has something to do with it too. So let me play this right here. I was telling you about how we dealing with bankers, and they behind all the wars and all the stuff, all the chaos that comes up. They bringing it about. They're making trillions of dollars off of it. So we saw how that tanker was over in the Middle East, got stuck in that canal, and and it backed up all the money. So he go another tanker, and something happened. Here you go right here. Tanker. Cargo tanker. Today. That's all. Is there something? Anybody heard about that?
Oh, mm-mm.
Yeah. So what happened is today, and so what's happening is that they're expecting an environmental disaster, just like in the Gulf when they had the oil spill in the Gulf.
Right.
Because that was an oil tanker. See all the oil that was coming out of it?
Right.
Yeah. So
Where did that happen at?
it's Sri Lanka.
Oh.
Burning cargo ship sinks off of Sri Lanka.
Hmm.
Okay. Want this song?
Yeah. Lena, did you already say something about the scuffle on the floor in Parliament in Africa over the voting?
Nah, I didn't hear nothing about it. What happened?
Well, there's some type of an election going on, and people started snatching ballot boxes right on the Parliament.
Yeah, I think I just saw something on it. I didn't know what they was talking about it, but it got to be that because the one guy said the one guy they've been having on TV all along, one of the faces of Africa. He said that the guy threatened his life, so he's gonna threaten his life.
Mm-hmm.
So it must be talking to the same stuff. Talking about the same.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's unrest, but everything is connected.
Right. Exactly. You get something? Nah, I don't think it was an accident. I think it was set up. Yeah. So I'm gonna go to this right here. Like I said, if you don't think that we at the very end, then you're gonna check this out. I got two related videos.
Right, Lena. Real quick, also, I don't know if you guys have heard, but they have let me see, LeBron James and another person is producing a movie about the Tulsa, the Oklahoma, when they bombed the Black Wall Street.
Yeah, that's the night, I think. Yeah, last night.
Yeah, it
On
aired
CNN.
Monday.
On CNN.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're gonna air it again on CNN. I think Maverick Carter may be his name. I'm not sure, but I know his first name is Maverick.
That's LeBron James' childhood buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, in addition to that, I don't know if you saw on the news, but Biden made a
Right.
trip to Tulsa, and just a little bit about his speech. He's going to say he showed up because this type of activity can no longer be tolerated. And I'm just like, what is he talking about? Like, this happened years ago, and America has never apologized for it. And all of a sudden, you're going to show up and, you're going to make it better.
Right.
So again, it's just a lot of jaw jacking.
Right. Okay. Can you hear me, Ken?
Yeah, I can hear you. It just took me a while. It kicks me out for some reason. It takes me forever to get in.
Yeah, I can't see you. I see you up, but I can't see you on the screen.
Man, my hair. I'm having a bad hair day.
Oh, okay. Okay. All
I'm
right.
bald headed, really.
Yeah. So let me play this right here. This is like I said, I got two related videos that go along with this. This to me is a sign. Let me get it.
Okay, because I can't see. I see just pictures of you guys. Yeah, I'm live, huh?
Right. Yeah. You live. Yeah, you live.
Is Good Day Orlando a game changer for some couples? Experts think that within the next
You guys have.
Yeah, you live now. I can see you now.
for men to have a
You
baby.
can hit your avatar if you want to.
Say
All of
again.
it. Next, we're going to speak to a
If
local.
you have a little avatar button if you want to.
Could possibly become reality.
This is stop cam. This is stop cam. Hold on.
If you're on YouTube, hit the notification.
This stop cam. See that at the bottom?
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
So we're gonna check this video out.
So you notify every time I drop a video. You look below. Yes, you will see some nice merchandise. Listen, everything that y'all buy for our merch store does go back to the channel, so we can help spread the message, and we need all the help we can get. Listen, did y'all just see that video I just showed y'all, right? Right? And they say in 5 to 10 years, but that was 5 years ago. So we are here, and it's crazy that we go for this. You know what I'm saying? And it just blew my mind. Like, I wonder how
Are we supposed to be singing something?
these people and
No.
how these people are taking us as people and just experiment on us, changing this and changing that. But a lot of stuff that in the Bible that we act like we don't see, I won't say nothing about it. Same people that's running the world, the same people that's accountable for all this. Why don't we take a stance and say, you know what, this is something that compromise what I believe in? But no, nobody gonna say nothing. They're gonna turn on the cheat. Like, how many cheats you got? But it's crazy that we can even go for some shit like this to where men can have babies. Like, has anyone thought about what God gonna say about it? But nobody care. See, the thing is, don't control nothing because you don't own nothing. You understand me? Now, we can just contribute to this stuff. And I'm not blaming y'all. No, I'm not doing it. But I do want y'all to pay attention to what the fuck going on. If they're going to do that without our permission, or don't care about how biblical we are, or don't care about our religion, or what, none of that, imagine what else they are doing and doing. And I've done countless videos of this stuff, and I need to start paying attention. Men having babies. This shit don't even sound right. I don't care what nobody say. Like, see one thing about the government, there's no ceiling. There's like, they're gonna keep going and keep going and keep going. Like, there's no threshold. You get what I'm saying? And I know y'all probably be like, well, damn, I know.
So did you hear what he said?
Yes. Did he say men having babies?
Yeah, the men can have babies now. They got to go. Men can have babies. You know, that's what I said. It's two parts to this. I'm just gonna play a little more of this. But he's, you know, like I said, if you go back to, I was talking to somebody, the other night on another line about, you know, it tells you the reason why the flood came. Let me read that. It says in Genesis. And so, like I said, he's a God of signs. He warn you. That's the reason why these people, that's all the stuff they doing, they using signs, like what they putting on the dollar and all that. They getting that from the Creator. You know, Lord of hosts. So it says right here in verse 6, it says, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great. This is Genesis chapter 6, verse 5. God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of his thoughts, of his heart, was only evil continuously. And he repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and he grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man I have created from the face of the earth, both man, beast, creeping thing, fowls of the air, for it repeated me that I have made them. See that? So
Mhm.
we there again right here. See what he's saying?
But I see the
Me having babies.
You get a uterus implant and have a baby. That's crazy.
Well,
That is
you know,
so damn crazy. But yes, it is here. And a lot of other stuff too, where you can dictate your children's eyesight, not eyesight, but color their eyes. I'm sorry, a couple of other characteristics of your children.
wow.
Different modifications or whatever the case may be. But it's just crazy how they causing us to get to the point where women is no longer going to be able to have. You're no longer You're not going to. Not saying you're not going to be able to have kids, but you're going to be a factor to have a child.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore. Not just because men can have children, but I've done videos of what they call, I want to say it looked like a room full of like little incubators where they were producing children without women, period.
Right.
It was like wombs. I've done a video about this. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But what I'm basically telling y'all is you're going to be able to have a child and you don't need a woman to do it.
Right.
This is the society we head to.
Wow.
Like I keep telling y'all, you need a people's committee to challenge this stuff. Because if not, they're going to keep doing what they're doing. Like I say, I'm going to say it many times, once artificial intelligence hits fully, we fucked. You can't beat a robot. Can you? If a robot can't knock on your door right now, which we ain't gonna do nothing about it, we're gonna let everything just keep happening like they've been doing, then you're gonna do it. And I'm just saying we need to come together before all this happens. You get what I'm saying? These people are marching forward without your ass in mind. Okay, what color you is? You're gonna see real soon that this whole color thing, the black against white and this and that, and that's just a game. It's just something they use for us on the lower level to keep fighting each other and stay distracted. They are making men they are acquiring men to have babies. Now you wonder why all these uteruses are going, all these women get.
Exactly.
You see what they were doing. So I say, man, doctors, and I'm not saying all doctors, but you got a lot of them out there that's just for the money. They don't give a damn. They don't care. But then you got a lot of doctors, or some that do care, and it ain't about the doctor. And they know this shit is not right.
Okay. Any comments?
Yeah, I'm being reminded of a few years back when they were doing so many hysterectomies on women, and they were saying that it wasn't even necessary, but they're taking women's wombs for this very thing. Right. And like I don't know if you guys have seen anything about the synthetic babies. They look real.
Right.
So it's like the scripture that you just read, the wickedness. See, we only understand now that we are really in the truth, that we understand what these scriptures mean. Because I know I was just thinking when that scripture that you just read, when it says that man is wicked, you're thinking about little wicked stuff. You're not thinking about this. I mean, yeah.
Right. And so that goes back, like I said before, is what you come to find out that it's an invasive species on the planet. They don't have nothing to do with the Most High creation.
Exactly.
And that's what the whole thing about it. And they didn't cover him over when they concocted the New Testament. They went back and covered all that over, and talking about we all humans, we all originated from Adam, but that's a lie. It's a whole other story going on. Yeah. So, like I said, the back door there, here we go right here. So here go the article right here. It says,
oh my God.
So it says, so like I said, if you think the Most High ain't on his way back, something wrong with it. It says a lot of trauma. Trans parents say medical system isn't set up for their pregnancies. And then say why Caden Coleman was pregnant with his now 10-month-old daughter. No one else.
Oh my God.
Fused over his growing belly. Nobody fussed over his growing belly or made him feel special in the way that pregnant women are sometimes treated. Ain't that something? Right. In a way, he feels as though he missed out on the perks. for pregnancy. He said in another, he's relieved no one knew the truth. As a transgender man, he felt safer that way. I don't know. I don't have to walk around in fear, worrying that people wanted to inflict violence on me. Coleman, who lives in Houston, look at that, Houston, told today, they thought I had a beer belly. And then Coleman, who also has a 7-year-old daughter, is one of a growing number of advocates trying to educate the public and the medical community about what it's like to navigate pregnancy, childbirth, and a postpartum experience as a trans person, and dispel stereotypes about trans people that he said even healthcare workers believe. Trans people already face high rates of violence, discrimination, and harassment in the world of pregnancy and childbirth. Their struggles are only magnified. You see that? Is there something?
Right.
So it goes back to
this is not a woman with the hormone treatment, because I've seen something like that. But this is actually
a dude. It's a dude.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines as what's his name, Kenneth?
Yes.
Okay, because again, we haven't done much talk about it, but in Hollywood, the people that we think are women are actually men, and the people that we think are men are actually women. And so I don't doubt that they're putting wounds into men, but I also believe that they are tricking us, or we're in a matrix, and so they can make a woman, by giving her hormones, grow hair on her face and everything just like a man, like I say,
keep her female parts,
because in Hollywood, when you see couples, it's the one that's in the role of the man that's having the baby, because he used to be a female. You understand? They do a switcheroo.
Right.
Just for example, it's just an example. Beyonce and Jay-Z. Right. Jay-Z is the female anyway. He has just taken hormones too, and they have changed his voice and everything. He functions as a man, but he is the one that has the baby in the relationship.
Okay.
So that's actually what's going on now?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Right. So like I said before, the thing about that is, what people I was talking to a guy yesterday about this, how that it's a serpent. It's a humanoid serpent that came in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when you understand that and go back and look at the mechanics of how all that happened, it's a race of serpents. That was a priesthood that was in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a third angel followed Satan when he left, because he is serpentine being, a fiery flying serpent. So when he left, they came with him. So when you start telling people that it's serpentine beings, people been seeing serpentine beings all over the place. They've been here forever.
Mm.
When the Genesis, when it tells you that there was a war in heaven, and Satan and his angels was kicked out by Michael and his angels, they came to the earth.
Mm-hmm.
They've been here ever since.
And they can't go back, according to Enoch.
Right. So you got to go back to that understanding of that, which we don't pay no attention to it. So look at the frog and how they can amphibious.
Yes.
He's in the water, he's out of the water. So you say, what are you talking about? Well, when the flood came, like I showed you a couple of months ago, when the flood came, it tells you everything on dry land was destroyed. But these serpentine beings, they can exist. They amphibious.
They went to the water.
So ain't wasn't nothing destroyed in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go back to the Babylonians' history. Even today, they talk about a marine world. And then you go to like Dagon.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fish-headed god that has what the Pope got on. Pope got on that robe he got on got a fish head on it.
Mm-hmm.
And his head coming up out of it. So that's Dagon.
What about Leviathan, Leonard?
That's a serpent. That's an amphibious being too. So you're in and out of water. And then I can't say his name, Quetzalcoatl, whatever, from the Aztecs. Even the Chinese talking about these serpentine beings that's in the water. They come in, they in and out of the water. And so anyway, the story is that a race of people come up out of the water.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that advanced mankind, like the Babylonians and all them too. Civilization that they had. They was dealing with these beings that was coming up out of the water.
Is it connected to mermaids and mermans?
Right. It's like I said, they talk about the giants, but they don't talk about it's another race of what was causing all the havoc on the planet was when these angels started breeding with animals.
Mm-hmm.
They started getting half like the Minotaur and all that. You're thinking all this stuff is mythology.
Yeah.
He's a half man, half being, half angelic being, and they was all twisted up. They was violent. So they was eating people. That's where cannibalism come from.
Wow.
It's gotta be something in you that's animalistic for you to want to eat people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The human that's the most created don't want to eat no people. So it's something else going on. If you got a being or a man that look like a man that want to eat people and suck their blood, something ain't right. Something happened.
Right. And Leonard, one step. What do you think about this? Even though these beings like to eat people, melanated people is the pick of the litter. You know what I'm saying? The cream of the crop.
Right.
In other words, the life force that they get from eating melanated people, they don't get that from just eating animals. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. That goes back to what I'm saying right here. That's why I'm saying these are men. They want to throw something in the Most High face, and say that you created man to put the seed in the woman. We're gonna put the seed in him.
That is diabolical.
Wow. Yeah, so diabolical. That's what I say. The angels on these angelic beings, the spirit that was in them, they didn't want to deal with the Most High. So when they had these giants, the spirit was sown in them. They don't want to deal with nothing that have to do with the Most High. They want to do the opposite of whatever it is the Most High creation is set up to do. They want to come in and do the opposite of it. So this right here is like a slap in his face.
Wow.
That came and manipulated this man to the point where they didn't put a female organs in him for him to have a baby.
Wow.
Right. Even test tube babies, all that's a slap in the Most High face.
Yeah, and I heard that they can only do C-section because they're not going to open up like a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So yeah. So with that, anybody got any more comments on that? Okay. So I got something else right here. This is let me see. Yeah, this is about the like I was saying before. All this stuff we've been just glazing over this. It coming up in the church. All this information it's been out there, but it just go over our head. We go right into on Sunday, go right back in the church after you see all this evidence all over the place, but you keep on dealing with this. So here we go right here with this. This just happened recently. It's all over the news. Anybody heard about this? It's let me get it.
What?
Yeah, it's says the remains of 215 children found at indigenous residential schools in Canada. So this tied to the Catholic Church. So it says pairs of children's shoes and toys are seen at the memorial in front of the former Kamloops Indian residential school after the remains of 215 children some as young as 3 years old were found at the site in Kamloops, I can't say that, British Columbia, Canada, May 31st, 2021. The discovery of the remains at a former residential school in Canada has reopened wounds for survivors of the system. They said as the government pledged to spend previously promised money to search for unmarked graves. See that? So I mean, like I said, so these people been doing this, but everybody overlooking that. After you see something like this here, but you continue to run to the church, and then running to go over that same old narrative they've been telling you when you see right here, like I said before. If you got a man or something that look like a man, and it's going around eating people, something ain't right.
Yeah.
So right here, you killing. This is just the one they done found.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's another part to this. Let me bring it up. Okay. Yeah.
Well, we've been anesthetized to it, Leonard. So many I think that's the reason why they bombard us with so much negativity in the news, because after a certain point, you become anesthetized to it. It's like, oh well, another report. Like initially when you first hear it, like the first story ever, you're shocked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's like hearing news and it's off in another country. But if we really pay attention, it has gotten closer and closer to our doorstep.
Right.
And like you say, we looking at it like it's still far away.
All right. We're not thinking. We ain't thinking right. It's not. It ain't registered. So this right here is a little video on that.
The Quarantine Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. The Canadian government is facing pressure to declare a national day of mourning after the bodies of 215 children were found in British Columbia on the grounds of a school where Indigenous children were sent after being forcibly separated from their families by the Canadian government. The bodies were discovered at the Kamloops Indian Residential School, which opened in 1890 and closed in the late 1970s. The Catholic Church ran the school up until 1969. Over a span of a century, more than 150,000 Indigenous children were sent away from their families as part of an effort by the government and church to rid them of their native cultures and languages. In 2015, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada concluded that the residential schools were, quote, an integral part of conscious policy of cultural genocide against Canada's First Nations population. The commission estimated 4,100 children died while attending residential schools across Canada. The commission's findings prompted a new search for unmarked graves at residential schools. This is Chief Roseanne Casimir of the Tsutsuwet'luk First Nation.
Knowing that, children have went missing, their relations have went missing, that and never came home. There was always questions of where, and there had to be more to the story than they ran away or what other reason that they may have given. So I do know that with this year find, it's about bringing in, the advanced technology today to be able to, look beneath the surface of the soils and to, confirm some of the stories that were once told.
We're joined now by Cindy Blackstock, Gitxsan activist for child welfare and executive director of the First Nations Child and Family Caring Society of Canada, also a professor at McGill University. She's joining us from Ottawa. We thank you so much for joining us, Professor Blackstock. Talk about this horrific finding.
You know what we know is that First Nations, Métis and Inuit children were dying at prolific rates, often related to the federal government's underfunding of the schools in terms of healthcare, and bad health practices like putting sick kids in with healthy kids, malnourishment, etc., and abuse and neglect. And the federal government knew about this in 1907, had the remedies to address it, and chose not to do it. And this is a history that we see replaying itself throughout the entire history of residential schools. These stories of children dying under these dreadful circumstances were repeated, and Canada continued to do nothing to help them. And so the important thing to know here is that these children are just some of the children who died in the schools. There are many others in unmarked graves across the country.
And Professor Blackstock, could you talk about the role of the Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau at this time, and in terms of these revelations? Isn't the Canadian government still actively litigating against residential school survivors?
Yeah, they are. Despite the Prime Minister accepting all of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action back in 2015, his government is not only litigating against residential school survivors, the survivors from St. Anne's residential schools, where there was actually an electric chair. They would literally put children in an electric chair and shock them. And Canada is litigating against the survivors because it doesn't want to provide them proper justice and compensation. But it's also litigating against this generation of First Nations children. In 2016, we have a legal ruling that found that the government of Canada is racially discriminating against over 165,000 children by providing unequal federal services on reserves. These are public services that children need. And that inequality, it was linked to the unnecessary family separations of thousands of children, in fact, in greater numbers than in residential schools, harms to children, and indeed, in some tragic cases, the deaths of children. And yet, Canada, we've had to have 19 procedural and non-compliance orders against this government to try and get them to a place to stop the discrimination. And we're going back to court in 2 more weeks.
So, any comments?
Hey, Leonard, guys, I've witnessed that firsthand back in the early 2000s. I was when I was working for the Federal Protective Service. One of my assigned places was the U.S. Attorney's Office, and one was the Immigration's Office. In total, between those two, I worked 10 years at those particular facilities, and there were complaints. Some of the Native Americans were complaining about how the Catholic monasteries, which people don't really realize, they still have those old Renaissance type monasteries in the United States, but a lot of them on the reservations and places like that where they can't get touched.
Right.
Well, they did an investigation on one of the monasteries.
Right.
And they found over 500 baby skeletal remains.
Right.
In they excavated at least 500 baby skeletal remains.
Wow.
In those monasteries with those priests and those nuns. And they were doing other stuff. They really couldn't touch it because the government laws on the reservation does not are totally different as to, for example, if I was to kill someone here, I can get life. If on a reservation, I kill somebody on a reservation, the max I can get is 11 years for murder. So the laws on reservations are totally different, and come to find out that has been in the Southwest, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, these places where these monasteries are at. That's a common practice, untouched and untalked about. Right. And if you would not have been there during the investigation, which just all of a sudden disappeared, you'd never know. Right. And they didn't do anything to these nuns or these priests.
Right, right. So they go back to what I'm saying about the information going over. We're not connecting dots. We're so caught up with the New Testament and Jesus and all that we ain't connecting the dots. So, like I said before, what was Israel? How we ended up being cast over here? When he told them to go, when they went into the land, originally he delivered them from Egypt. He brought them into the land of Canaan. There were giants there. And those giants was doing child sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that's a coincidence now? It's still going on. You're dealing with a religious order with these monasteries, an ancient order that go all the way back, and kids everywhere, all over the place. They just had a big old thing going on with the priests for the last 20 years. How they found out these priests been dealing with these neighborhoods and molesting these little boys, and I'm telling you how many they killed.
Right.
You know, and so now, but nobody connecting the dots. You can't keep on reading it blindly, reading what they done gave you when all this type of stuff coming out. They've been doing it, and they can't stop doing it because of, like I said, it's not, you know, it's other humans, it's otherly human that's involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and nobody, it ain't being addressed.
Right.
Keep on, you know, you can't continue to go down the same road when you see that, you know, none of the dots ain't connected. Something is wrong. It's a dead camera line.
But Leonard, that goes back to when reading the Apocrypha, when in the part where Solomon was building the temple, and he had his primary apprentice helping him, and when one of the demons that assisted Solomon and who the Most High gave him power. You know what I'm talking about? That in the Apocrypha. Well, one of the demons said his primary goal is in the world is to corrupt them, making men lust after men, and he said that's my goal. That's what my sole purpose, and the ones who follow under me, the demons that follow under him, because he was a big he was like a legion type demon.
Right.
And his goal was to do that.
Right. Right. So that's the thing I'm saying about the understanding the mechanics. So what's the origins of homosexuality? When those angels came down and they mixed angelic DNA with humans, they slept with those women. Those giants that was born, those giants was homosexuals. So where did the demon come in at? The giant died.
Okay.
And the spirit is still there. That's what you just talked about.
Exactly.
So it's a homosexual spirit. That's what the spirit. So the Most High, the only one can kill that spirit. So, but we're not looking at the mechanics of where all this came from. So now you got to look at, like I said before, what person is a human that's gonna want to eat kids or want to do all this type of stuff to kids. There's something else going on. You've been left out the classroom because there's something else going on that you don't know nothing about.
Right.
But you need to find out what's going on with it. And so that's what that is. It's just like with the thing with the forever. We've been looking at these 7 angels all through the Old Testament, but never saw them. We never saw them because you've been given a whole nother narrative. You don't see that. You read right over them in the whole time because they done posted up something else, indoctrinated you on a whole nother road.
Right.
And that's what's going on now. All that's coming to the light. Like I said, these angelic beings is just been here. They've been here forever. Like I was saying before, with the what I'm gonna talk about tonight for the topic for the class is bug breaking, which is a system. It's a system that's been in place, but you got to ask yourself, where does this come from? Wasn't they killing the males in Egypt?
Yep.
So the war they targeting the males. Who getting shot down in the streets by the police? The males. So this is a system that's been in place. But like I said, who behind it? You know, it's who the same people that's behind that is the same one eating these children. And doing all this stuff to these children, and nobody ain't doing nothing about it. Because of what they're doing is they got a system that's been in place, an ancient system. They got them going to get the children for them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so, and we ain't dealing with that. So, like another thing, anybody familiar with chemtrails?
Yes.
So they spraying them chemtrails constantly. They've been doing it for the last 20, 30 years, spraying chemtrails. And them chemtrails is called cloud seeding. they changing the the dynamics of the atmosphere. They try to block out the sun. And
Right.
the sun is one of the most powerful luminaries Mozart created, and that everything on the planet in the universe is reacting to that sun.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So these serpentine beings, they can't deal with the sun, just like the white man can't deal with the sun. So they trying to change the code, they trying to change the climate because as of right now, they can't come up on the surface.
They can't accommodate they're trying to accommodate
because of the sun. So they trying to change the climate. So let's look at that, like I was saying before. Who else can't deal with the sun that you know of? That he running out at night.
The vampire? There
you go. What do? He suck blood.
Yeah.
So that's another name for what these beings that we've been dealing with. They gave you some kind of fanciful name that everybody they making money off of in Hollywood. And so I showed you how that we know now these angelic beings can shapeshift.
Right.
Well, what Dracula do? He turned to a wolf. He shapeshift to a wolf, to a bat, to a fog. He do all this shapeshifting. So who is that? That's Lucifer. They telling you it's a vampire. It's a vampire. But all the characteristics of these fallen angels. He can shapeshift.
Exactly.
All these different things. Like I said, the men come, the guy sitting there waiting on him to come in there with a woman at, and he done turned into a fog.
Exactly.
Passing right by them, they looking crazy, and he is the fog. So that's Lucifer. Dracula is some old, just like they did with J-Fat. They didn't throw you off, got you off on somewhere else.
Isn't that just like the when Adam was sleeping on the top of the cave and Lucifer came in as a beautiful woman, trying to say, hey, the Most High said it since Eve's acting the way she is, he promised me you and you to me.
Right.
So let's basically make what he was saying. Let's do make our own family.
Right.
Like, wow. You mean he's trying to get Adam to impregnate an angel, a fallen angel?
Wow. Right. So don't that bring us back around full circle what we just dealt with? Men having babies?
Yes.
So you see who behind it?
So he can make a baby, or he can inseminate a woman to make a baby, or he can be inseminated by a man and make a baby.
Right. Anything the Most High created or formed, they can transform into. And then you go, like I said, they gave you all these old names and these different characters, and you thinking they are mythological. So Zeus, right? I told you angels live on mountains, right? Well, don't Zeus live on a mountain?
Right.
And then how many children did he got? He got children all over the place. He's sleeping with all these different kings, wives, and stuff. He coming to him, shapeshifting, looking like the husband. He look just like the husband, sleep with her, and then he gone.
Wow.
The baby ain't even none of the baby ain't none of the king's baby. It's his baby.
Leonard, it's just like when God said Abraham, your bloodline and your seed on up into the current day. Well, that's the same with their seed. Their seed and bloodline is living just the same back then as it is now.
Exactly.
It's the seed.
That's what the average person can't fathom. They can't fathom that because they follow the narrative that's been given to them by our enemies. If you just pay attention, you can see that's not the case.
Christian narrative.
Right. That ain't the case. Exactly. Ain't that something?
Wow.
I was explaining that to one of my cousins this past week about how the seed works. And this never dawned on him. He studies and reads, but I'm like, these are deep dive things that that you have to look at and just can't say, well, it's impossible. It's just Hollywood. Hollywood, as is written, is written as it exists.
Right. Exactly. Right. But like I say, it's not. You have to. The transformation has to happen. You got to reprogram your brain to, for discernment, because they brainwashed us and did such a good job. They don't even care no more. They just, it's like this. What we just reading about it's on the news that 215 kids' bodies been found. Come on, but one thing happened. If you got a school and then you got little kids that's been buried in the back of the school. Come on, ain't but one thing going on.
Yeah.
And nobody they ain't even addressing it. And then you targeted Native American people that's vulnerable. Just like they targeted us. Because the whole system of orphanages and all that, they set it up for this very reason.
Yep.
They losing kids in the system. They know how to lose kids in the system. They're gonna be around them kids, and like I say, it goes all the way back to they was sacrificing kids way back. The Bible tell you what they were doing way back in the day.
Right, with them little angels, got them little boy angels.
Right, you can't. You gotta be able to have discernment and deal with that, and get to the bottom of it, for yourself.
Question.
Okay.
When we go back to the garden and when the Lord formed Adam, he put Adam to sleep and he took out, the text tells us that he took out a rib, but I think you've explained it to us. He took the female essence out of the man.
Right.
What does that have to do with homosexuality or with what the angels did coming down, and they did not have that part taken out?
They didn't have to get it taken out because they were the eternal beings. They have a different type of molecular makeup, so he didn't have to do that to them.
Yeah, their design is totally different.
Yeah, so what you have to look at, like I was saying before, people not looking at it. When you go to surgery, what they do?
Put you to sleep.
What do you do with Adam?
You put Adam to sleep.
So they go surgery right there in our face. We're not looking at it. He put him to sleep. Then he says he opened him up, took a rib out, then closed up the flesh thereof. That's a surgery. Then he made a woman from the rib he took out. So let's look at that right there. I want because I people when I started reading it and showing them this stuff, they want to they think some ain't, I'm not writing dividing the scriptures. So I'm in Ezekiel 37.
Okay.
Let me get it. Ezekiel 37. Right? So he says right here, the hand of the Lord was upon me, carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of a valley, which was full of bones, right? So the rib he took out of Adam, ain't that a bone?
Yes.
Okay, so all he got is a bone right there. He reached in Adam, and so you say, how you know that? Because the man shot one rib than a woman. So it says, the hand of the Lord was upon me, carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of a valley, which was full of bones. And he caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, bones all over the place. That's all he needs, a bone. See? It says, below, that they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord God, thou knowest. And again he said unto me, prophesy unto these bones, and say unto these bones, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. And thus says the Lord God unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay, see this? 9:6. I will lay sinew upon you, and I will bring up flesh upon you, cover you with skin, put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Now, ain't that what he did to the bone with Eve?
Yes.
He did the same thing right there.
Yes.
So you have to understand that to read this.
Right.
You have to understand when we tell you that I'm a creative being. And so all these bones, all your forefathers laying here, they done died, their bones dried up. I'm asking you, Ezekiel, can these bones live? It ain't no metaphor or no symbol, because we know what he did with Eve. He put Adam to sleep, took the rib out, took a bone out, closed it back up, then built up sinew and flesh upon that bone.
Right.
And made Eve. Then he brought the woman to Adam. Well, it's the same thing right here. He asked him, can all these bones laying around over here, can they live? And
right.
Then he tells you in verse 10, so I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, and they exceedingly great army.
Right.
So the narrative is, with the mega pastors and the rabbis and all them, they want to say that this is a people that's blind and lost and didn't know who they are. Now they finding themselves. That's what the dry bones is, right?
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly what they preach. It's a mental thing. People walking around mentally dead.
So let's look at that. In verse 10. If that's the case, then we in verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceedingly great army. Now, what the army got to do with the narrative that you done gave me?
Well, what they say, what they say is, we are not in the right mindset to be able to do for the Lord what we're supposed to do. Is not until he wakes us up in our mind that we will be able to come together as a great army. Of course, that's not true. They just spiritualizing it because they don't understand, because they don't know who the Lord of hosts is.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the next chapter. Like I said before with these prophets, the prophet, you can't. Abraham can't prophesy about Babylon. He gonna skip over the captivity in Egypt and all that. That ain't how it works. Abraham he's a prophet at the time. He's gonna prophesy about things that's gonna come after he died. So it's just like these minor prophets prophesy to us about the things that they telling us what will happen after they pass away.
Right. So
I was in 37, and Ezekiel said, asked, and the Lord of hosts asked Ezekiel, can these bones live? Then he told him, yeah, I'm gonna put sinew back on them like I did with Eve. And then they're gonna stand up on their feet and see the great army. Why? Why is he saying an army? 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face, still talking to Ezekiel, against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus says the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O God, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army. That's why he created an army.
Mm-hmm.
These people got an army.
Mm.
See that?
Right.
So exactly. that killed the narrative what they talking about. Because you ain't dealing with it right. You ain't thinking right. So that's why he didn't create his army over here. So now he putting hooks in them and bringing them over there where his army is, so they can do them real bad.
Mm-hmm.
He put hooks in them to bring them to the army he done raised up.
Right.
It ain't got nothing to do with no metaphors or symbols.
Exactly.
Come on. Yeah.
Because my question always was, even in seminary, I said, who tells you which scripture to take literally and which scripture to take as a simile or metaphor? Exactly. That's a choice that you're making on your own, and that is tampering with the word of God. Right.
And like I said before, it's like I said, if you got somebody that's been cooking sweet potato pie for 20 years and you don't know nothing about them, then go sit down somewhere.
Right.
Go get a magazine and watch. You don't know. You don't know. You can't. You know. You know. If you don't know nothing about it, then go sit down. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's just that this ain't your party.
Well, and the other thing, Leonard, the Most High, the Lord of Hosts told us He's going to pour out His Spirit,
right,
on His
Israelites,
upon the Israelites, and they are going. They are going. He said they're going to prophesy. They're going to see visions, and then the other thing that you tell us, we're supposed to be searching for our Lord. So if we're searching for our Lord, that means that we hadn't found Him. You know what I'm saying? How can we have a Lord if we are told to search for Him?
Right. In the latter days.
In the latter days.
I mean, He was lost all the way up to the latter days. We wasn't dealing with Him.
Right.
He was hiding His face from Him. David tells us that over and over again. You a God that hides yourself from us. When we don't do right, you hide from us. We gotta go looking for you and find you. And then anybody that dealt with that situation know what that's like when you ain't getting nothing from Him.
That's right. All of us.
You already know what that's like. So but they're gonna the narrative right there, but like I said, we reading over that. We all over here trying to figure out what JC said and read when the Messiah, David the Messiah.
You know, prior to this, us talking, I was explaining to my wife that there's Christianity streaming from the Pope. He has signed off on all these different denominations and church groups, all the different Baptists, Seventh-day Adventists, all these, whatever, just, you know, the Christian faith. I said each one of them has a blueprint that they follow that's different from the Church of Christ and different from the Baptists. And each one have a blueprint and they stick to it in their Bible lesson. I said, why is it every time during the springtime you can always expect these type of Bible lessons, and when you come to an area in that Bible lesson where it's the question, hey, what about this right here? Kind of like what you're talking about, Leonard. It pops up in their head. Hey, this is missing something. You're not interpreting this right. And their response is, this is just the way it is.
Right. Yeah, that ain't flying no more. They can't fly no more.
Yes.
Yeah, it's too much information out there, and, you know, and the Most High raises up people's spirits up, and you can't get, if you don't know, like I said, if you don't know nothing about what you're talking about, then just go sit down. Because you ain't, you know, evidently, you know, you ain't the one for the job at hand. So that's, but, you know, and it's all over the place now because they ain't, you know, people ain't going for that. You just can't tell people nothing, anything.
Even the younger kids that eyes are being opened, how astute and well knowledge they are.
Right, exactly. You can't just tell them anything no more. You gotta be able to go in and break it down when they ask you the question. And that ain't nothing but the Most High right there. Right.
Question.
Okay.
This is my last question. How did Joseph know to tell them to take his bones with them? Because isn't that a connection to Ezekiel 37?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the point I'm making about understanding the process and the prophets. Like I said, Moses ain't gonna prophesy about nothing way in the future. Moses told them Abraham, they hadn't went into captivity in Babylon. They hadn't even became Jacob wasn't even born yet. Jacob hadn't even wrestled with the angel yet.
So how did Joseph know to tell them to take his bones with them?
Yeah, that's where I'm going. So
okay.
So I showed you in 2 Samuel. Go to 2 Samuel 22. Let me get it. I read this all the time. 2 Samuel chapter 22. It says, and so he said, I only Moses I talked to face to face. Everybody else we just went over there with the pineal gland, right?
Right.
So in 2 Samuel 22, verse 2 says, And he said, David talking, and he said, the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer and the God of my rock. In him will I trust. He is my shield and my horn and my salvation and my high tower and my refuge and my savior. Thou savest me from violence. So then 4, and I will call on the Lord who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. When the waves of death compass me, right?
Mm-hmm.
David ain't dead right here, is he?
Nope.
No.
So he had a vision. He's having a vision right here. He's showing him. So what happened? What he said that what he told him Ezekiel in chapter 37. He says those bones are all over the place, right?
Right.
And then a great shaking came, right?
Right.
A great shaking. Ain't that what we waiting on? A lot of days it's gonna be a great shaking.
Right.
That's when the bones gonna come together. That's when the army gonna be formed. So keep going. Keep in mind it's gonna be a great shaking. So then, so he showed David all this that he's gonna be resurrected. Verse 7. In my distress, I called upon the Lord. So he died. Verse 6 says, verse 5 says, when the waves of death compassed me, the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. We know what ungodly men are. We just talked about it. These
Right.
giants, these demons, the giant that died, and the spirit's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So the Most High created hell for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when David died, then verse 6, the sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented him from rising. The spirit in David rise, but their spirit is bound to the earth. So they got these weak, wicked spirits from these giants try to hold David here, right? So then prevented me. Then 7, in my distress, see that? I called upon the Lord, I cried to my God, and he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. Now watch this. Then the earth shook.
Come on.
That take you to Ezekiel 37. See that?
Yeah.
Now go to Joel. I'm gonna show you one more place. Now I got to get back over where I was at. So now go to Joel. So David saw all this. Same thing with Jeremiah. With Joseph. He showed Joseph all that. That's why Joseph can tell him, listen, take my bones with you. The Most High already showed me in a vision.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
Joel.
Joel. So it says, Joel chapter 2, verse 1. Blow ye a trumpet in Zion. All that, the great shaking and the trumpet, all that go off at the same time. And sound an alarm in my holy mountain, and let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. The cue for the day of the Lord is this great shaking. The earth gonna shake.
Mm-hmm.
And when it shake, is when, verse 2, a day of darkness, the day of gloom is the day of clouds, and thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people, as strong. There have not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the end of many many generations. A fire devoured before them. So it's a great shaking to happen. So one more place. Go to Ezekiel 38, where I was at. Then I'm gonna go back to class.
Hey, Leonard.
Yeah.
You know what these lands of old that these doggone Pope people have gone and excavated these and put these bones into vaults, thinking they're going to be able to stop them.
Right. Exactly.
Which is crazy.
Right. They think they.
So they know they what you're talking about. They know, and they know the locations.
Right. Exactly. They know. They know the whole story. That's what all the comment is about right now.
Yep.
Right. Let me find it.
What script? Where we going? What book and chapter?
I'm trying to find something. I might be on the wrong track.
While you looking for that, I'm gonna pick on Jeanette. I thought you said you won't ask no more questions. Now, why you didn't say that?
You know what, the truth makes you ask questions. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
When the pottage is good, you got to eat it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm. Yeah, I go. So it's over here in 38, but it's so at the very time when in verse 11 it says, "And thou shalt say," it's 38:11, and when thou shalt say,
What book?
Ezekiel 38.
Okay.
It's the army. I told you he created an army in 37 for the army that's in 38. So the army in 38 says we've been regathered and we dwelling safely, just like we was dwelling safely on the west coast of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And they came and got us from over there. We wasn't in our land, but we was dwelling safely.
Right.
And they came and got us. Prophecy was on us, so they came and got us. And so now we've been regathered again. Now they want to come and do the same thing again. But that ain't part of prophecy. So it says in verse 11, "And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages." See that? We regathered us again. That we was in villages back in 1619. See that? Unwalled villages. And I will go to them that are at rest, and they will, and I will do that dwell safely. All of them dwelling without walls, and have neither walls nor gates, to take a spoil and to take a prey. Turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations. See that? Which have gotten cattle and goods, and dwell in the midst of the land. Okay, so then it goes on down and says, it's 15, "And thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, and great many company, and a mighty army. And thou shalt come against my people Israel as a cloud cover the land, and it shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, and the heathen may know me, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O God, before their eyes. Thus says the Lord God, art thou he whom I have spoken of in old times by the servants and the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years, that I will bring thee against them. Now here you go. And it shall come to pass at that same time, when God shall come up against the land of Israel, said the Lord, that my fury shall come up in my face, and in my jealousy and in my fury of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking. See that? There it is.
Well, hey, Leonard, do you think that's also part of why these Khazarians and Edomites and stuff in the world today, or in this country, are always gather up arms and doing all these training tactics, thinking that we're going to be the people that the Most High pluck and create this army? Do you think that's part of why they do this stuff? And
right. Yeah. That's what they have. They that ignorant to think that they're gonna be able to fight against what the Most High then brought out. The army he brings out. They really believe that they can, they're gonna be able to contend, but they're not gonna be able to contend. That's the reason I'm saying what people, the missing link, what people are understanding is that I was showing a guy the other day. I told y'all about this David Icke. And David Icke has a book called The Biggest Secret. You pretty much have to have that book. You got to get it. You know what I'm saying? So he got a chapter in there about the serpent. The serpent. That's the name of the serpents. So ain't it a serpent in Genesis showed up in the garden?
Yep.
What's
the name of this book again?
The Biggest Secret.
David Icke.
Right. And he go all the way in, and he even show you pictures of how these 17 beings look. They're humanoid looking serpents. And then so once you that register, then you take that what he showed you, you take it to the garden. That's what showed up in the garden. The humanoid looking serpent, like I said. So, like I said, go back to a big lizard. What you think a big lizard will eat? Children, humans.
Vulnerable prey.
Yeah, all you gotta do is just let it register. So anyway, I was showing you how that the question was asked was, how did Joseph know that? Because he dealing with all these men and dreams and visions, and so before they died, they're able to go tell their offspring and the children of Israel what's getting ready to happen, what's going to be falling.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do,
Okay.
all you got to do is look at Abraham, then look at Joseph. Joseph ain't tell them, or Joseph didn't say, y'all go and wait till 2019.
Right.
Joseph said, y'all, you in Egypt, and I'm finna die. He gonna deliver y'all. Take my bones with you. He prophesied about what's finna come upon them in the future. Moses, Abraham doing the same thing. Abraham ain't talking about no 400-year prophecy way in the future. He prophesied they going into Egypt. They going into activity in Egypt for 400 something years.
They're going through their phase of the 400.
Right. Just like Hosea telling you for 3,000 years. 2 days, 2,000 years, you're gonna be in captivity, and then in the third year, that's what we at now. In the third day, I mean, he's gonna come and deliver. We see all the
1,000 years.
Right. Now we see all this unfolding, but you can't see none of that because everything been skewed. So that's what I'm doing right here, breaking it down. So before we go into the class about this bug breaking, anybody got anything they want to bring up? Question? Comment? Okay. So I'm just gonna play bits and pieces of it, but like I said, for you to get the gist of what really happened to us as a race of people. So here we go.
Hey, welcome back to the Philippe Matthews Show Live. Thank you for tuning in wherever you are around the world. I hope that you are safe and sound. Tonight is going to be a blockbuster. Speaking of Buster, we are going to be talking about a movie that is yet to come out by Tariq Nasheed called Buck Breaking, which I believe is going to come out in March. And we're going to do a review and a preview of it, but we're really going to get down into the understanding of what buck breaking is, what it has done to our community. And so we've got some great scholars and some great stories that have been shared with me that we're going to share with you tonight as we unpack this subject matter that has been needed to have for a long time. So I wanted to pull together a group of individuals that would be able to give us the best scholarship on the topic. So with me tonight is, of course, Baba Kaba, the King Kaba, the God Kaba. He is the star of Hidden Colors 1 through 5, 1804, The Hidden History of Haiti, and soon to be released, Buck Breaking by Tariq Nasheed. Hotep to the King.
Hotep to the Kingmaker. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for this platform to discuss this very important concept that we must deal with.
Absolutely.
And to my Lord Jamar and to my Sri Master Gado, it's an honor and a pleasure to be with you and to have this discussion, a conversation that is very much needed in our community. Let's clear it up.
Absolutely. And so with that being said, also Lord Jamar is back with us again. Lord Jamar is also in the movie Buck Breaking, but he's also in the Hoppy film, which is where I got a chance to meet with him. When we say stars, I think it was Richard Pryor that used to use the joke. He says, I've seen stars and I've seen studs, and tonight is star-studded. So Lord Jamar is definitely star-studded as we talk about all of his work on Oz, all of his work in the music industry and hip-hop. Welcome to the platform, God, Lord Jamar.
Thank you, brother. Always a pleasure to be back. Brother Kaba, always an honor to be in your presence. Brother Gano, come on, it's my brother for more than 20 years now. So yeah, I'm happy to be amongst family right now. And let's talk about it.
Let's make it happen. And so with that, last of the introductions is Sri Master Gado Grills. This brother has been a spiritual master and leader for many, many years. Good friend of Lord Jamar, which is how I met Sri Master Gado. And we had a conversation on the phone that I said, hey, brother, I would really love to have you come on the platform and talk about this. We're actually going to be having a show about it, as he was sharing with me as you will, if you will, in his previous life as an actor. I mean, this brother has been in New York Undercover, In Too Deep, and also co-starred with Lord Jamar on Oz. And the brother is just absolutely amazing. One of our greatest spiritual leaders, mentors, and scholars, as well as the Master Gano. Oh yeah, that's right. Graffiti art as well. That's right. Real talk. Salute, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. And Rev Shah, thank you so much for having me on the platform. And I just wanted to acknowledge and really salute you for the literary works that you're doing and all of the books that you've written. You're definitely an inspiration to me. So I'm going to be watching you really close and studying what you're doing. Lord Jamar, of course, you know, we go back many, many years. And Brother Kaba, I have a tremendous amount of respect for your contribution and your scholarship and your very, very clear, explicit, erudite speak. So I'm very, very happy to be here, and thank you for having me on the platform.
Absolutely, my brother. So now let's get into it, family. This is going to be a conversation of scholarship and spirituality. This is not going to be a discussion. If you're looking for a discussion on bashing and all of that kind of stuff and debating, tune it out, go somewhere else. This is not what we're going to be doing. So one of the conversations that I had with Baba Kaba when he was invited to be a part of this film was understanding the definition and the history of buck breaking. So we're going to start out tonight with you, Baba Kaba, if you could explain to us what is buck breaking, so we can set the tone, set the pace for this conversation as we get into how and why the Europeans have weaponized sexuality in the African community.
Well, you know, interesting. You know, my approach always comes out of a scientific perspective with an understanding that the unseen part of science is spirituality. And you cannot have one without the other. And one of the things that I look at when it relates to the concept of buck breaking is it comes down to a particular word, a word that's in our vocabulary, but sometimes is overlooked in terms of how it permeates our society and how it permeates a people who are fundamentally insecure and suffer from a deep inferiority complex. And out of this comes all of the other things that would try to put them on top of other people, even though they are looking at them from the bottom. To me, in terms of how I see the word buck breaking, in terms of studying the word, when we think of the word buck, we think of, like, for instance, in school, that's applied in school. In the Board of Education, when I was an educator, if we had children who were who did not behave properly, let's say that they they acted in a way that was not appropriate to the school rules and things like that, we would, when I say we, I'm not speaking as I am part of it, but I've watched, because sometimes I've been that person that they've chosen. They call the buck. And the buck is the brother that the tough brothers and sisters fear. They're the ones that bring order and arrangement to other people who cannot arrange and who cannot order their class. They have no classroom management. The children do not respect them for a lot of different reasons. And a lot of times I agreed with the young people that felt that way about some of the teachers that they call, but they would call, like, for instance, they would call me to take a student out of class, to take with me, to talk to, and to get that. That was called a buck. The teacher that could handle the other teachers. So buck breaking, or the concept of buck, permeates society. You can buck break somebody mentally, physically, spiritually, and soulfully. One of the most important concepts is buck breaking is rape. That's the word I use for buck breaking. It's rape. It is an inferior individual attempting to claim power, because rape and power are side by side. When someone rapes a woman, you are not doing it for the physical, for the sexual aspect of it. You're doing it for power. And so when we go into these words and we use these words, like I gave you an example of what could be buck breaking, because that's what you're trying to do to the young person that is misbehaving. You're trying to break them. And the reality is that they didn't have to be broken. And most of the time, the reason why they conducted themselves the way they did was because they felt society was trying to break them anyway. So they said, I ain't having none of this. And it don't make a difference what you do to me. And so buck breaking is rape. It is the attempt to take power over somebody that you feel inferior to. And that happens mentally, it happens physically, spiritually, and soulfully. It happens in some of our churches. It happens in our schools. It's the purpose of incarceration. It is to break the power of another individual so that they don't come forward through your inferiority. That's my concept.
Phenomenal. Thank you.
Okay. Any comments on that?
Yeah, just real quick. Okay, so when you say buck breaking, buck is the name given to the person that they're breaking, and then the part that's missing in his explanation for me is the method that they are using to break the buck. But so he's putting it all together, and there's a part missing, and the part that's missing is the methodology that they're using to break the buck. The buck is the person. So buck breaking, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. Maybe they're gonna bring it up.
So let's look at this right here. You know, because it all goes back to two boys was born, Jacob and Esau. If Jacob not ruling, Esau ruling. So with that understanding, it's all about Israel and Jacob and Esau. Well, it's not about, you know, what the environment that we in now. It's about two races of people that Becca said. So I mean, and I had a class on this before, but I'm gonna read this right quick. You know, and it says, so when Israel was existing, and the Most High, like I said, the Lord of hosts was in the midst of them. Wasn't it bucks all over Israel?
Okay.
When they came to the land of Israel, and they formed the nation of Israel,
yeah,
they had a king. They had a king over them. They had a high priest. Wasn't it princes all over the place?
Yes.
They bucks.
Okay, could you define buck in your from your perspective?
That's what I'm looking for right here.
Okay.
Fine. That says so.
Or speaking of a person that doesn't follow the rules, is that?
No.
Okay.
To me, the buck is a person who is confident in themselves, physically,
Right.
mentally, and they exert that through their thoughts, actions, and deeds.
Right.
And they're very influential. They're automatically perceived as a leader.
Right.
Whether
Like
it's male or female.
Like Moses.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in Ezekiel 17. We had a class on this. Matter of fact, I think it was one of those conversations, non-Messianic conversations. So chapter 17 of Ezekiel is a parable of the eagle and the vine. It says, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, put forth a riddle and speak a parable unto the house of Israel, and say, thus says the Lord God, a great eagle with great wings, long winged, full of feathers, which had divers colors, came unto Lebanon and took the highest branch of the cedar, and he cropped off top of his young twigs and carried it into the land of traffic, and he set it in the city of merchants. He took also the seed of the land and planted it in a fruitful field, and he placed it in great waters and set it as a willow tree, and it grew and became a spreading vine of low stature, whose branches turned toward him, and the roots thereof were brought forth. It says it says, and the branches turned toward him, and the roots thereof were under him, so it became a vine and brought forth branches and shot forth spreads. There were also another great eagle. Okay, so what is he talking about right there when he say branches? So he says in verse 3, they're dealing with Israel. So, and he said, thus said the Lord God, a great eagle with great wings, long wings, full of feathers, which had diverse colors, came to Lebanon. So that's the Chaldeans. That's Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar.
Okay.
Right? See, and he took the highest branch from the cedar. What is that?
The king.
Right. So just replace buck with branch.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
So that's what who they came and got on the slave ship.
They came and got the Israelites.
Right. You got the Israelites. Each one of them got their own house. Right. Got his own house. He's over that house. So the children ain't finna listen to nobody else. I don't care. You could be the drug them all the way across the Atlantic Ocean for 9 months, but when they get on the other side, then if the father's still there, they ain't listening to nobody else.
Okay.
His wives, everybody listen to him. So they gotta break the buck. In front of each buck, they gotta break him in front of his people that he have influence over.
Okay.
So that's what that is. So branches. So the Most High says that he had a Moses. Moses was a buck, right?
Okay.
So, but Israel wasn't in a position for them to break him, because Most High was there with him. But when we came over on slave ships, the Creator, the Lord of Hosts, was gone. These people was able to come in and break all, to break Israel down, buck by buck, break them all down.
Okay.
That's what that is. It ain't no other understanding to it.
So a buck
in the school system and all that, they breaking bucks.
Okay, and so a buck is synonymous with a leader or a person that has influence over other people.
Yes.
Right. But you got to look at it from Israel's perspective. Okay, you got 12 tribes, right?
Right.
Okay, we know the names: Issachar, Zebulun, all them. Okay, Zebulun got a son, right?
Right.
Zebulun is over the tribe, but Zebulun got a son. Well, what's that son? A prince.
The son is a prince. Okay.
12 princes in Israel, because each one of them men, boys each one of those sons from Israel got a son.
Right.
So they 12 princes. So Jeremiah was in a dungeon, and he couldn't get out there. Zedekiah had him down in a dungeon, so Barak went to him. And I told you the Most High dealing with these men through dreams and visions. So he didn't gave Jeremiah a dream to tell them princes, the 12 bucks, to go tell them, thus says the Lord. And so he had Barak write that down and take it to them. So in Israel, those 12 princes and all the people that the royals always sat at the gate. Coming into the gate. So he told him, take this scroll and go and give it to the princes that's sitting at the gate. And the buck. So if you want to break Israel down, you're gonna go and break them bucks. They call them bucks, but they princes. They the ones, they the movers and shakers. Everybody waiting on them, and they're the ones that direct the people and got Israel going the way it's going.
And that goes the same with what we're reading about Nimrod. He had princes as well to counsel him as to how he was going to deal with Abraham.
Exactly. Right. And the same thing happened when Solomon died. Jeroboam took over. Rehoboam took over. Rehoboam had these men around him. That's the 12 princes he talking about. And he went and asked him. Jeroboam came and told him, ease up on us, don't do it like your dad Solomon did. So he got 12 young bucks, and asked them what should he do. He didn't ask the elders, the elder men, what to do and get the right proper wisdom, he asked them, and they gave him the wrong understanding. But that's what a buck is. He's the one that comes in and everything automatically come in order. He start doing stuff, putting everybody in order. Everybody listen
in a good way.
Right. Spirit of the Most High, like Moses. He protected Moses. Moses had a spirit of order. When Moses showed up, order automatically came. Moses directed everything. So they got a system in place where they don't want that person to arise. So they break every book. They break every book.
Okay.
And that
religiously, you know, like you said, it's rape. So when you understand who JC is, you've been raped.
And
if you go on that system, you've been raped.
So the system and the understanding of JC is a buck breaking system.
System, what's they call that? Incarceration.
Yeah,
that's rape.
Okay, yeah,
it's buck break.
And they still, in our phase of the 400 years, you go back to the Robert Lynch letters, and one of the most interesting things, how he said how he was to break down this the slaves was that bucking process. If you ever read the Robert Lynch letters, he explains how to wants to conquer and divide the slaves and stuff, and if there was and the worst part about it, which they didn't put in the Robert Lynch letters, but they did actually follow through, is another term, like it's the term bucking, where they get the biggest and the strongest slave, and they have weak white men rape them in front of everybody, and that is a form. And once that big black man has been raped, he automatically goes into mental anguish.
Yeah.
And he is no longer that physical appearance of a buck.
Yeah, he's now docile.
Yes, and so that is part of the bucking process of this 400 years that we're living in, and the goal of that was to make a weaker control, and like I said, bucking, controlling the mind of the male slaves.
Right. That's the reason why we're in the state that we in from that very process right there. So what Kenny was saying, is the what they do. They already know. You got all like may have is a uprising in the air. Right. So they know that all the plantations know about this one strong brother on the certain plantation. So they all come over there, like they're gonna have a big old festival or something, and they take him and they say, well, we need you to go chop a couple trees down for him. So he go and chop down 2 or 3 trees. By the time the evening comes, he wore out.
Right.
That's when they come in, tie him down against the tree, and all them raping.
Yeah. So Gabriel Prosser and Denmark Vesey, all of those uprisings,
right?
They would have been under the label of a buck.
Right. Yeah. And like I said before, when you understand who we are and who they are, that's the whole thing behind not being like the brother said. It's all buck breaking come from an inferior person. Trying to dominate a superior person.
Okay.
So that's where they're coming in talking about don't look at me, because the superior man looking at you and you feeling inadequate because he's looking at you.
Right.
And the Tulsa, Oklahoma was a bucking of an entire community.
Right.
Okay.
So all those strong black men and women, there was a form of bucking. They
broke them down.
The best way to get rid of them is to kill everybody.
Right. Right. So that goes back to like I was saying, what they doing, how they getting over on us with words like Melchizedek. They ain't no person. That's a title.
Okay.
Yeah. So Shem was Melchizedek. So you gotta take that same concept to buck.
Okay, Leonard. So would we say that them changing our name is a form of buck breaking?
Right, because you're taking away your identity.
Okay. Okay.
Your strength. You for 10, 15 generations, your people before you didn't even know they was Israelites.
Right.
But now all of a sudden you find out, but they had been
broke down.
Yeah, because you know you have your identity. You don't know who you are.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
right. And even when they instituted special ed, that was buck breaking.
Yeah. So what I'm learning tonight that I didn't have the understanding of before is that a buck can be a male or a female.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know, like move like Harriet Tubman.
Okay. Okay.
Well, so they running around like a fish out of the water trying to find her. See what I'm saying? They ain't gonna rest. They want her gone. They just like Denmark Vesey and all the people you mentioned. They can't sleep. They want to because it's a spirit that's on them that's contagious.
Okay.
Yeah. So you gotta give you the same thing today. Like I was saying, the FBI, Secret Service, the whole security system is based around that.
Yeah, there's a buck breaking system. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Based around that.
Right. And even Leonard, with us today, day after day, seeing our people get shot down in the street, that is a form of buck breaking.
Right.
Jeanette, the classic definition of buck breaking back then is when Harriet Tubman said, "I could have freed thousands more, but they didn't know they were slaves. They were brought,
okay,
men and women."
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's exactly. It's just when he said he said that I lost what I was gonna say, but he's he said they'll put a yoke of iron around your neck until you destroy it. That's buck breaking.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm thinking about one more thing. Help me. Single parents being put in a position where because the one thing that we sometimes overlook is we have men that are single parents. You know what I'm saying? So single parent man or single parent woman, that is a method of buck breaking, because we are, as Israelites, we are used to looking to our man.
Right. That's the whole part. That's like I said, when you understand melanin, a lot of people, they didn't find out what melanin is. It's a system within a body all by itself, and they don't have that system. But what's the source behind the melanin? The pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to throw somebody out, then go take the pineal gland out. That's buck breaking.
Okay.
Remove the pineal gland. So it's the same thing with the family unit. We know the Most High set it up in Israel was the male. Everything was similar to the male. So you break the buck.
Right.
The whole household go to the dog.
Right.
That's where we at.
Okay.
It ain't nothing else. It's just, like I say, we are fish out of water.
Yeah.
We ain't from the West.
Right. This is not our home.
Right.
Okay. And like you said before, Leonard, we see our people on the street homeless, and sometimes you don't understand that, but the basic understanding of it is this is not our home. This is not our element.
We've been dislocated, displaced.
Right.
Diaspora.
Right. We ain't the same. We ain't from here. Like I said, you sitting around looking, seeing a 62, 67-year-old man pushing a lawnmower trying to get a pack of cigarettes.
Right.
How you get there? We was snatched from our where we live, our habitation, and brought over here.
Yes, our name changed, everything, culture.
Yeah, that's why you're seeing all that. It ain't just happened. It means if you left him alone, you wouldn't see him over here with no lawnmower, because he wouldn't be over here.
Exactly.
We displaced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, I was, well, I'm gonna say, our sisters that feel like the only thing they can do is, you know, find a way to shoot something in their butt and shake their big butt. That's not who we are.
No.
You know, that's not who we are.
Right. Like he said, Most High said, this is another part that you know, it's not registered. He says, he planted a vineyard. I just read that right in Ezekiel. He said he planted a vineyard. He looked and he had original grapes, but he looked and had wild grapes.
Mm.
So, you know, so wild grapes are the same grapes, the original grapes that he made.
Okay,
And
okay,
a whole bunch of intermingling and DNA switching and all that happened.
okay.
And so that's what I'm saying about the Most High Spirit don't change. So when his spirit is poured out on the Israelites, it's that original seed, that original DNA is the one that's gonna respond to.
Okay.
The wild grape ain't gonna deal. He gonna keep on doing what he doing. If he's shining and wiping on his rims and the spirit fall on him, he gonna keep on wiping on the rims. You ain't think about no Most High, Lord of hosts.
Right.
So that's how you gauge.
Okay.
Right. So anybody else got anything? I'm gonna let the rest of this play, then we're gonna close out. Okay.
Come back into incarnation to the point of origin where they last lived 90% of the time. And if some people are wondering the validity of what I'm saying, this can be proved if you look at a lot of doctors who hypnotically regress people or do past life regressions. There is a point in which you skip back to your last life right before your birth, and you can completely speak a different language that you've never studied in this life. If a black man was once, and it's my personal belief through lots of research, that we all have been every race, creed, color, and also gender. So if you look at people that there are many case studies in certain books that elucidate this in great detail. When you rewind someone's consciousness back through a certain way of hypnosis, they can give you the track record of all of the lifetimes that they've lived. And there is a repository of information in which what I'm telling you comes from, that there is a maybe an unrecorded history of this particular dynamic. So the context now becomes, there was a major revisitation of a lot of these souls that these women, these babies were born that were girls and they were left out to die, but now they come back. They make the choice of coming back now as a male. They grow up in society, busy,
I can't get with that.
Physically, I gotta find.
Okay, so I want to deal with that right quick before we get off here. So we just had a example of that. David said that he passed, and then these wicked spirits try to hold him here, right?
Right.
So where was he going? That the spirits were trying to hold him.
He was trying to ascend up.
Right, to heaven, right?
Right.
And Enoch tells us it's chambers in heaven. So
right.
Moses, he told Moses, go up on top of Mount Nebo and look over there and view the land. You can't go into the land. Then he says that there Moses died and was gathered unto his fathers.
Right.
Where his fathers is?
His fathers is in heaven.
Right. So what is this brother talking about?
I can't get with that. Moses ain't coming back as nobody else but Moses.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, they be putting this. Sometimes, you know, when you and it's a great conversation, but you have to be so careful because they mix in ancestry worship and stuff like that and reincarnation. No, the Most High told us that you know, he when he sends a child, when he opens a woman's womb for her to have a child, that child is being born with a purpose in mind that the Most High have. So
predestined. He's predestined.
Yeah, the Most High have a purpose and a plan for that child, and that's the reason why they can do what they do with Jesus, because of all of this reincarnation and Jesus is a typology of Elijah and all of this. No, Elijah is Elijah.
Right. Right. Exactly. So that's being canceled out. So like I said before, they're Egyptologists. They're Egyptologists.
Okay. Okay.
So it says, the Lord of hosts talking, he said, my people oftentimes went down into Egypt, and the Egyptian oppressed them.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
That's the problem right there.
Right. And you can be oppressed in many ways.
Right.
You know, like you say, I really didn't know that text where it says that they often went down into Egypt and they were oppressed, but they were going down to Egypt with people that were bigger than them giants.
Right. But he said the Egyptians. That's what that's my point. Ham got 4 sons. The Mizraim, which is giants, is the Egyptians.
Okay.
Right. So that's going over a lot of people's head though, but they're not connecting the dot with Mizraim and Egyptians. They're the same people. Egyptians is a mingled seed.
Okay.
And so they're oppressive. They're oppressive people. So look what happened. They came and got us on the slave ship. What the people that came and got us on the slave ship, weren't they oppressive people?
Oppressive people.
Okay. So
these people are not like us.
Right. They're like us. Yeah. We ain't originate from the same place. You got to keep on saying that and keep reiterating it. We've been oppressed. He said the same thing about the Egyptians. Israelites, Moses went down there. Joseph went first. Then he came back and got his rest his brothers and sisters and his brothers and father, and they went to Egypt. And they was running Egypt, and then the Egyptian oppressed them.
Right.
For no cause.
Right. Now,
Right.
Leonard, anytime that you say mingled seed, you always mean giants with normal people?
It's just that a mingled seed is
other than Israelite.
A biracial thing.
No, a Korean, a biracial. A Korean can sleep with an Israelite, whether it's male or female. Male or female, the seed is mingled.
Okay.
But it's also, it's got to do with a male Israelite. If it's a male Israelite that slept with a Korean woman, the kid's still Israelite.
Okay.
But if a Korean man slept with an Israelite woman, the kid Korean.
Okay.
Yep,
okay.
He's yep, I was explaining that last night. You said I was explaining that last night to my cousin. He talking to him about it. He was like, if he wasn't a truck driver, he'd be right in on these meetings.
Right. But that's big because people don't understand that. So in a household, you can't put no praying mantis and a black widow spider in the same jar. So you got households where she let the woman have 2 different type of kids. That's 2 different. They're saying brother and sister, but that's 2 different. All right, 2 different. This man's father 1 kid, the other man father another kid. It's 2 different DNAs going on.
Okay.
So when you come to the mother had nothing to do with it. So then you come to the transatlantic slave trade. We see that the Most High clipped the black man, the Israelite wings. He wasn't in charge to be trying to sleep with no woman.
Right.
So it was the people on the slave ship, the men, the Caucasian, the Edomites that was running the slave ship was raping the women. So what happened? What happened when we got to the plantation? They gave them kids to us.
Okay.
And that's clear in today's language. Anytime let's say a black and a white person, a black, whether it's male or female, if that they always address when you sign those papers, filling out your medical form or whatever you have, they ask you what race. They don't have biracial. If you have any black DNA in you, you're going to be considered black.
Right.
Okay.
One drop.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and they do that every day. It just that, like you
Right.
said, they just slide it in there, and we think none the wiser.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've never seen the term biracial on a form.
Right.
Yep. You're gonna be black or you're gonna be white. But if you put white on there and you biracial, how they gonna treat you anyway?
Mm-hmm.
So they gonna treat you like you black.
Wow.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a major problem because and the Most High he have a remedy for that. Like he said, I'm just gonna pour my spirit out on all of them.
That's right.
We're gonna find out what's up. We're gonna find out what's
Right.
really going on.
That's like I don't know if this is a good analogy, but that's like throwing a rock in a crowd of dogs.
Right.
Whichever one they hit is gonna balk.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Snoopy gonna say, "Who did it?"
Right.
Wow. Yeah, I have learned something about, but I did not know that buck breaking could apply to women. Wow.
Oh yeah.
If you're a young lady with the like you said, with confidence or assurance in yourself, and it shows through your thoughts, actions, and deeds, you're bucked.
Mm.
It don't make a difference how tall, short, skinny, fat, whatever. If you exert those qualities, you're bucking. Like I said, you're bucking.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why I say and you have to get into that or understand that Esau is so super slick because look at how you would think that's something positive, which it is, but it's all about the person that's receiving the benefits and the accolades. So they back in like the 70s and the early 80s, they started promoting the women and downgrading the men.
Right.
And so we see a result of that now, right?
Right.
In commercials.
That was buck breaking.
Okay. Okay.
See what I'm saying? But it's reverse.
Mm-hmm.
That's how super slick he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another
So
example.
Getting them jobs, they got better jobs than the man got.
Right.
And there's something else to be looking out for too. And I was talking to I was watching Good Morning America Saturday, and they had that Asian singing group on TV, and it was all boys. But if you look at those boys,
oh yeah,
you couldn't tell if they were girl or boy.
Exactly.
They look like
Exactly.
some of them look straight up like
they all girls.
Look like exactly like girls. All
They
of them had
all
their
girls.
haircuts, but they had voices of men, and they talked when they was in the little studio audience doing their interview. All had voices like yours and mine, Leonard. But when they sing, it was like a combination. It sounded like it could be either a man or a woman, and you look at their actual physical features, they can be
female.
Ellen. They look like a bunch of Ellens.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
they don't pay attention to that. People ain't paying attention to that. That's
right.
Same with the Caucasian man. You can't tell.
And the skinny jeans and the clothes and these NBA stars wearing these same kind of clothes. Right. And look at with this stuff, Cam Newton. That right there is them supporting that they sneakily doing Cam Newton, breaking him to make him look like what is metrosexual or whatever.
Yes.
Hetero.
No, not hetero.
No, metro.
You can look like both.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what skinny jeans is.
Yeah.
And then unisex. The unisex.
What you say, Leonard?
Unisex.
Right.
It came out with that a long time ago. You got a pair of shoes the woman or the man can wear them, or the pants a man or woman can wear. Unisex. Watches, man or woman can wear a watch.
And also, Leonard, cologne and perfume.
Right. So they've been working that.
CK1, men or women can wear it.
Right. Ain't this something?
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody got anything else before we go? Okay. So let me get some of this here and we're gonna get out of here. I see y'all on Friday.
Hey,